Welcome, beautiful damsels. True leaders don't crave the spotlight. They create it and then step aside to watch the chaos sort itself out. Did you know that 60% of people in leadership roles admit to feeling unqualified or burned out? Now imagine someone who could lead circles around them, but chooses not to. That's the Sigma female for you. A walking paradox of untapped leadership potential and unapologetic independence. But why would someone born to lead reject the throne? Are they secretly plotting world domination from the shadows? Or do they know something the rest of us don't? Stick around, because what you're about to uncover will not only redefine how you see leadership, but also challenge everything you think you know about ambition, influence, and power. Spoiler alert, it's not what you expect. And yes, it's definitely not about chasing a corner office. Number 1. Leadership comes naturally, but it's not a goal. Some people chase leadership like it's a badge of honor, but Sigma females don't. For them, leadership is not a goal to pursue, but something that flows naturally from who they are. They don't need to announce themselves or demand respect. People instinctively look to them for guidance. It's as if their very presence says, "I know where I'm going and you're welcome to come along if you can keep up." What sets them apart is their authenticity. Sigma females don't wear masks to fit into the role of a leader. They don't follow scripts or mimic what society defines as leadership qualities. Their actions speak louder than words, and their confidence stems from knowing exactly who they are and what they stand for. This authenticity draws people in, not because they're trying to impress anyone, but because they simply can't help it. Unlike others who work tirelessly to climb the ladder, Sigma females don't waste energy trying to prove themselves. They don't need the title or recognition to validate their worth. That's what makes their leadership so unique. It's organic and effortless. When they step into a room, people notice. Not because they're shouting orders or demanding attention, but because they exude a quiet strength that's impossible to ignore. And yet, despite being natural-born leaders, they don't seek the spotlight. They know leadership comes with strings attached, expectations, politics, and responsibilities they don't want to be tied down by. Instead, they focus on what really matters, being true to themselves and their values. For them, leading isn't about being in charge. It's about having the freedom to carve their own path, even if that means walking it alone. That's the kind of power most people can only dream of. Number 2, they lead by influence, not authority. Sigma females don't need a title or position to lead. They lead by influence, not authority. While most people rely on a formal role to be taken seriously, Sigma females skip that step entirely. They have an undeniable presence that makes people listen, follow, and trust their guidance without needing a single word of persuasion. Their leadership doesn't demand obedience. It inspires respect. What makes them so influential is their ability to observe, understand, and act decisively. They don't waste time on flashy speeches or unnecessary drama. Instead, they assess a situation, figure out what needs to be done, and take action, quietly, efficiently, and without looking for applause. This makes them the kind of person others naturally gravitate toward in moments of chaos. Even those who consider themselves strong leaders find themselves looking to a Sigma female for a nod of reassurance or a subtle cue. The irony is they aren't doing it for anyone else. Sigma females don't step up because they want to control a group or steer others in a specific direction. They act because they know what's right, what's necessary, and what works. Their confidence comes from their ability to handle pressure and their refusal to be distracted by petty competition or ego-driven power struggles. People follow them not because they have to, but because they want to. There's no need for force, manipulation, or shouting orders. Sigma females lead by example. They create an environment where others feel empowered to step up and take ownership of their roles. It's not about being the boss. It's about showing others what's possible when you operate with focus, intelligence, and purpose. That's influence in its purest form, and it's far more powerful than any title could ever be. Number 3, the burden of herding the mediocre. Leadership often means dealing with people who don't pull their weight. And for Sigma females, this is a deal breaker. They don't have the patience to herd a group of unmotivated or mediocre individuals, nor do they see the point in trying to light a fire under someone who clearly isn't interested in growth. To them, dragging others along is a waste of time and energy, resources they value far too much to squander. Sigma females are wired to prioritize efficiency and results. They prefer to focus on meaningful work and high-level thinking rather than hand-holding people who are more interested in coasting than contributing. This isn't arrogance, it's an understanding of their own worth and limits. They know their energy is finite, and they refuse to drain it by babysitting those who won't meet them halfway. What makes this even more frustrating for them is the realization that in many leadership roles you don't get to choose who you work with. You're stuck managing a mix of personalities, skill levels, and motivations, which often includes people who are content to do the bare minimum. Sigma females can't stand this dynamic. They believe in autonomy and personal responsibility, so the thought of having to constantly motivate or micromanage others feels like a prison sentence. Instead, they choose to lead themselves. They create their own path, surrounding themselves only with those who share their drive and ambition. They'd rather work alone than be held back by a team that lacks focus or determination. For them, leadership isn't about fixing or managing others. It's about excelling on their own terms. If others can't keep up, that's not their problem. Sigma females don't drag dead weight. They leave it behind. Number 4. Impact matters more than recognition. Sigma females operate on a different wavelength when it comes to leadership. They're not in it for the applause. For them, the goal isn't to gather recognition or bask in the spotlight. Instead, they focus on creating something meaningful and lasting, the kind of impact that speaks louder than any title or trophy ever could. They understand that true leadership isn't about standing on a podium. It's about leaving a legacy that stands on its own. This mindset sets them apart in a world where many people equate success with validation. While others crave attention and external praise to feel accomplished, Sigma females thrive on quiet achievement. They measure their success not by how many people are watching, but by how much value they bring to the table. Whether it's through their work, ideas, or actions, they aim to make a difference that resonates long after they've stepped away. The irony is, their lack of interest in recognition often makes their impact even greater. Without the distraction of chasing approval, Sigma females are free to focus on what truly matters, solving problems, pushing boundaries, and making decisions that count. They don't waste time crafting a perfect public image or worrying about whether others will notice their efforts. They know the right people, those who truly matter, will see and appreciate the results. In the end, Sigma females don't need a title to validate their worth. They don't need to be called a leader to know they've led. For them, the work they've done and the lives they've touched are the only proof they need. And while others are busy chasing applause, they're out there creating the kind of change that lasts, a quiet force reshaping the world, one impactful decision at a time. Number 5, they are builders, not overseers. Sigma females are natural builders, driven by a desire to create something meaningful rather than simply oversee what already exists. Their energy comes from innovation, strategy, and bringing ideas to life, not from hovering over people to ensure tasks get done. To them, the thought of micromanaging others is exhausting and, frankly, a waste of their unique skills. What sets Sigma females apart is their focus on the process of creation. Whether it's starting a business, crafting art, or fostering deep relationships, they pour themselves into building things that have substance and depth. They aren't interested in following trends or copying what's already been done. They want to create something original that reflects their values and vision. This is why they're often drawn to roles or projects that allow them to work independently and on their own terms. Supervising others, on the other hand, feels like a distraction to them. They have no desire to play babysitter or constantly monitor someone else's output. Their mindset is simple. If you're not capable of pulling your weight, you're not their responsibility. Sigma females trust people to handle their own tasks and expect the same level of independence they give themselves. They're not about to waste their time nitpicking someone else's work or worrying about whether deadlines are being met. Instead, they thrive in environments where they can focus entirely on creation and strategy. They prefer to build something exceptional and then let it grow organically, without being chained to the day-to-day grind of managing others. For Sigma females, leadership isn't about control, it's about vision. They'd rather create the foundation for something extraordinary and let the rest take care of itself, proving once again that their impact speaks louder than their presence. Number 6. They understand leadership is a lonely road. Sigma females are well aware that leadership, especially in its traditional sense, can be an isolating path. While they are fiercely independent and capable of standing alone, they're not interested in the emotional toll of isolation that often comes with being at the top. To them, the loneliness of leadership isn't a badge of honor. It's a sign that something is missing. In traditional leadership roles, the focus is often on dominance, authority, and maintaining a certain distance from others. Sigma females reject this model entirely. They don't believe leadership should come at the cost of genuine connection. For them, relationships, collaboration, and shared purpose are far more valuable than sitting on a pedestal. They thrive on authenticity and mutual respect, and they know that the isolation of conventional leadership stifles these essential elements. What makes Sigma females different is their ability to balance independence with meaningful connection. They don't seek out leadership roles that require them to constantly assert control or separate themselves from others. Instead, they lead through influence and shared purpose, building relationships that are rooted in trust and mutual understanding. They're not interested in being above anyone. They'd rather work alongside people who share their vision. This approach allows them to avoid the loneliness that often comes with leadership while still making a significant impact. They choose collaboration over hierarchy and purpose over power, creating a sense of unity rather than division. By rejecting the isolating aspects of traditional leadership, Sigma females prove that it's possible to lead without losing touch with what truly matters: connection, community, and the freedom to remain true to yourself. Number 7. They don't need followers to validate their vision. Sigma females operate from a place of deep self-sufficiency, and that's what makes their leadership so unique. Unlike many who crave followers or external validation to feel purposeful, Sigma females don't need a crowd to back them up. Their vision and goals come from within, not from the approval or support of others. This independence makes formal leadership roles unnecessary, even redundant for them. Their strength lies in their unwavering belief in their vision. They don't wait for a committee, a cheerleading squad, or a boardroom to give them the green light to move forward. If they see something worth pursuing, they go after it, quietly and confidently, without worrying about who's paying attention. This autonomy allows them to create and innovate without the burden of meeting anyone else's expectations. For Sigma females, external validation often feels like a distraction. While others might be caught up in seeking praise or building a following, Sigma females focus entirely on the work itself. They know that genuine impact doesn't depend on applause or a crowd's approval. Whether or not anyone notices what they're doing, they keep moving forward, trusting that their efforts will speak for themselves in the long run. This self-reliance is also why they don't feel the need to take on traditional leadership roles. They don't need a title, followers, or a team to prove their worth or make a difference. Their vision is their compass, and they trust it completely. By freeing themselves from the need for external validation, Sigma females can focus on what truly matters: creating, growing, and staying true to themselves, whether anyone else is watching or not. Number 8. True leadership don't chase power. For Sigma females, leadership is never about chasing power because they see power for what it truly is, fleeting and often hollow when it's tied to control or status, while others may scramble for titles and positions to assert dominance. Sigma females know that real power comes from influence, autonomy, and the freedom to act on their own terms. They don't need to climb the traditional ladder to prove their worth or make a difference. What sets Sigma females apart is their ability to lead without being confined by the structures that traditional leadership demands. They reject the idea that authority is defined by where you sit in a hierarchy. Instead, they measure their power by how effectively they can shape outcomes, inspire others, and stay true to themselves. Their influence comes naturally, without the need to enforce it. People trust them because they exude confidence, wisdom, and authenticity, qualities that can't be manufactured or assigned by a title. Chasing power often requires compromising values, playing political games, or bending to the expectations of others, all things Sigma females refuse to do. They're not interested in the bureaucracy or egos that come with leadership roles. For them, freedom is non-negotiable. The moment a leadership position begins to feel like a cage, they walk away without a second thought. Ultimately, Sigma females don't see power as something to be wielded over others. They see it as the ability to live life on their own terms while making a meaningful impact. Their leadership is rooted in influence, not control, in authenticity, not recognition. By choosing freedom over domination, they redefine what it means to lead, and they do it without ever needing to chase power in the first place. And number 9, freedom trumps leadership. For Sigma females, freedom is the ultimate priority, and they understand that leadership often comes with a set of invisible chains. The higher you climb in a traditional leadership role, the more obligations and responsibilities you inherit. There's always someone to answer to, a team to manage, and an expectation to meet. This structure, while offering the illusion of control, can quickly turn into a cage that restricts personal autonomy. Sigma females aren't willing to make that trade. Freedom for them is non-negotiable. It's not just about having time to do what they want. It's about having the space to think, create, and move through the world on their own terms. The moment a role or position begins to feel like it's compromising that freedom, they'll walk away. No hesitation. They value the ability to make decisions based on their own desires and instincts, rather than being tethered to the needs or expectations of others. Leadership may promise recognition, power, or influence, but it also brings a mountain of pressure and responsibility. Sigma females know that true power isn't in managing people or being at the top of a corporate ladder. It's in being free to shape their own path. They don't need the title or the prestige to feel fulfilled. They're not interested in the power games that come with traditional leadership. Instead, they prefer to focus on things that align with their values and goals. At the end of the day, Sigma females know that while leadership can be fulfilling for some, it often requires sacrifices they're not willing to make. They'd rather maintain their freedom and create on their own terms than be confined by the expectations that leadership often demands. For them, freedom is the ultimate form of power, and it trumps leadership every single time. Number 10. Leadership is exhausting when you're surrounded by chaos. Sigma females have an innate ability to recognize dysfunction and chaos in any group or environment. Whether it's disorganization, clashing personalities, or endless drama, they can feel the energy drain that comes from trying to manage or fix these situations. And here's the thing, they're not interested in getting tangled up in it. For them, leadership isn't about dealing with chaos and cleaning up other people's messes. It's about maintaining their own peace and staying aligned with their purpose. They understand that leadership in a chaotic environment demands an enormous amount of energy that could be better spent on creating, innovating, or improving themselves. Managing dysfunction isn't just frustrating, it's exhausting. The constant firefighting, micromanaging, and putting out fires is a drain on their mental and emotional resources. Sigma females don't need that in their lives. They're selective about where they invest their time and energy, and they refuse to waste it trying to fix others or manage endless turmoil. This is why Sigma females choose to lead themselves rather than try to control or fix external chaos. They've learned that true leadership comes from within. They focus on their own growth, their own path, and their own vision, understanding that when they stay true to themselves, they automatically lead by example. There's no need to micromanage or control others. Their actions, consistency, and values speak louder than any directive or management style ever could. For Sigma females, leadership isn't about managing other people's chaos. It's about cultivating their own order and energy. They know that leading themselves with integrity, authenticity, and focus is the most powerful way to inspire and influence others, without the exhaustion of trying to clean up everyone else's mess. Sigma females embody a rare form of leadership, one that is not bound by titles, control, or the exhausting need to fix others. Their strength lies in their ability to lead without chasing recognition or being confined by societal norms. They lead through influence, through action, and through the quiet power of authenticity. Their path is marked not by the demands of others, but by their own vision, values, and the freedom they fiercely protect. Unlike traditional leaders, Sigma females don't need followers to validate their worth, nor do they seek power for the sake of power. They understand that true leadership doesn't come from the top of a hierarchy, but from the courage to remain true to themselves, even when the world around them pushes for conformity. They know that freedom is the greatest form of leadership, because it allows them to create, innovate, and stay connected to their purpose without the shackles of external expectation. Their leadership doesn't require recognition. It doesn't rely on external validation, and it certainly doesn't need to fit into any box. Sigma females understand that the greatest impact often comes when you stop trying to control and start leading by example. Their power lies in their autonomy, in their ability to rise above the chaos, and in their commitment to making a difference without sacrificing their peace. In a world that often confuses leadership with authority and control, Sigma females redefine what it means to lead. They lead by their own rules, and in doing so, they show us all that the most powerful kind of leadership is the kind that stays true to the self, values freedom over dominance, and focuses on creating lasting impact, without ever needing to chase the spotlight. If you found yourself nodding along, feeling the power of a Sigma female's leadership resonate with you, don't miss out on the next level of content. Hit that subscribe button now, because we're just getting started. On this channel, we dive deep into what it really means to break free from the norms, to lead without titles, and to embrace the true power within. If you're ready to challenge the status quo and unleash your own potential, make sure you stay connected. Subscribe and join a community that isn't afraid to be extraordinary. This is just the beginning. Don't let it pass you by. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye, and stay blessed.